Hey there! I recently hosted a 3-day Vendoo cross-listing challenge, and during the challenge, I was teaching all about how you can use cross-listing to grow your business and grow your reselling income. In this video, you'll find the teaching session from day 2 of our challenge, where I'm going through all the ins and outs of cross-listing and creating listings right inside of Vendoo. If you don't yet have a Vendoo account, you'll find a link to get signed up with a free account, as well as get 25% off your first month. You'll find that link in the description below this video. Join me for this training. Hey, I'm Lee Meyer, and I'm the founder of Listing of Freedom and the Empowered Reseller. And I help clothing resellers make more money without hustling harder. Let's get started. All right, so welcome back. This is the day 2 of the 3-day cross-listing challenge. And again, a huge thank you to Vendoo for sponsoring this challenge and making this challenge possible. If you don't yet have a Vendoo account, there's a link in the description, and you can get set up with a free trial that gets you 5 listings every month, as well as get 25% off of your first month when you go to a paid version with that link. So I am Lee Meyer. I'm the founder of listingoffreedom.com and the empoweredreseller.com, and I'm happy to be here with you. I'm super excited to be bringing you this challenge because Vendoo is one of the tools behind my business. It's the cross-listing tool. It's the only cross-listing tool that I personally use so that I can get my items in front of more buyers and make more money per item, as well as move my inventory quicker. So a quick recap of what you can expect during this 3-day challenge. It's happening for 3 days this week. I've planned about 30 minutes for each day. You'll learn how to use cross-listing, or cross-posting as people call it, in your reselling business. We'll be specifically unpacking how Vendoo can make the whole process easier, as well as some of the other features that Vendoo comes with. Plus, I'll be saving some time at the end of each session to be able to answer questions. So lastly, because this is a challenge, you'll get a mini assignment or mini task to help you, get further along in your business and help you make more money with cross-listing. Specifically, what you'll learn during the challenge is if and when cross-listing can help you, and hopefully you came away with a clear understanding of that from yesterday's session. We also got into a little bit of the ins and outs in yesterday's session, and I showed you how you could import current listings and how easy it is to take those current listings and get them listed out to different platforms. We're going to be getting more into the cross-listing process today, so hang on for that. And then you're also going to get some tips for speeding things up, as well as strategies to be able to make more sales. So real quick, our schedule laid out here. Day 1 was all the basics, the what cross-listing is, how it can help you, who should cross-list. Today, day 2, we're going to dive into the quickest method, how you can speed up the process. And then tomorrow, day 3, we're going to go into Vendoo's other features, including ones that can help you make more sales. So before we get going with today's lesson, I want to touch on some other tools that you might see to import listings to other platforms. So we briefly talked yesterday about other cross-listing tools and why I have chosen Vendoo for my own business. But it dawned on me, what about maybe tools that just do the importing for you? So for example, Mercari has a new feature where they're able to import your listings from eBay. They're able to import your listings from Depop and bring them into Mercari. They're able to bring in the pictures. They're able to bring in the details, all of the things that you've already entered. And so you might be going, okay, how is Vendoo different? Is it different or is it the same? And it is different in one particular way, one critical way, I should say. And that is because when you're importing with Vendoo, when you're using Vendoo as your cross-listing tool, each of those listings inside of the different platforms, they're actually linked together. And so rather than just having a copy of a listing here and a copy of a listing there, Vendoo actually knows that this listing that you have on eBay, that's for the same exact item that you have on Poshmark. And this is going to be really important. I'm going to show you why here a little bit later. when I show you the auto sales detect, because it will know that those are linked. If one item sells here, it's going to know to go ahead and delist those for you on those other items because they are linked. When you're using another sort of import tool where there's basically just copy and pasted listings, they're not going to be linked at all, and you're not going to have that capability to manage your inventory or to be able to do things like, auto sales detect. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's lesson. When you're first getting started with Vendoo, you've probably already got items listed somewhere, whether that's, eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark or Depop, Mercari, wherever that is. And you're probably going to want to, make use of those existing listings, make use of the work that you've already done, and, be able to get those items out to other platforms. And so you can do that with Vendoo's import feature. So I showed you yesterday, we walked through this whole process of how you can import your existing listings, how it will pull in the photos, how it will pull in your title and your description and your price and all of the details that you've already entered, so that you're not having to re-enter. And then you can get that item out across other platforms. So this importing process and then cross-listing, this is what I did for a long, long time. Actually, the whole importing thing, I did it for way too long, for years and years and years. This is what I did. I listed on eBay. I created my listings on eBay just because that's what I was used to. Vendoo didn't exist when I started reselling. And so the very first items that I listed were on eBay. I learned how to do eBay. I could list items on eBay in like a minute and a half. I was super fast at it. And so I just kept doing that because that's what I was used to. That's what I knew. And so I would create my listings on eBay, then import them just as I showed you, and then cross list them out. But there's actually a quicker way. And so at the beginning of this year, I set out to learn this quicker way, this faster method. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that anytime you learn something new, there's going to be a learning curve. So whether that's learning a new recipe or learning to drive, or maybe it's listing an item for the first time or using Vendoo for the first time. Anytime you learn something new, it might be a little bit frustrating at first. It might be a little bit slower at first. It might be a lot slower at first, depending on, how much it's taking you to learn, how big of a learning curve this is. And it can be really easy to get caught in this place of thinking, I'm just going to give up on this. I'm just going to go back to the old way. The old way was better. The old way was faster, just because that's what we knew. That's what you're comfortable with. But as far as creating listings, in the long run, creating them right inside of Vendoo is actually quicker than creating them somewhere else and then having to go through the whole process of importing and then getting them cross-posted out. And so at the beginning of this year, just a few months ago, that's what I set out to learn and to basically teach an old dog a new trick, is to create listings right inside of Vendoo. And so it's taken some time to learn the process, but after getting through those first few stumbling blocks, it's really cut my time down probably to about half of what it was taking previously to be able to create a listing and get that listed out to the 3 platforms that I list on. And so that's what I want to show you today. We'll be heading into my account. I'll show you how you can do this and do it quickly, how you can create listings right inside of Vendoo. And again, this is for after you've imported your existing listings, because I'd recommend that as a starting place. If you've already gone through the work of creating a listing somewhere else, you might as well import that and get more mileage out of those items. But once you have got those imported, then I would recommend not doing like me and going, continuing down that whole import thing for years. I would recommend jumping right in to Vendoo and into their tool to be able to create listings right inside of Vendoo, because it is going to cut your time down probably in half doing it that way. So some pro tips before we jump on over to my account, because I want to make sure that I mention these. I'm going to mention these. I'm going to try to remember to mention these as I'm going through inside of Vendoo, but I want to make sure that you get these. First is to upload photos from your phone. This is going to be the quickest way to get photos onto Vendoo. I do list from my computer, whether that's, listing on Poshmark or Mercari or eBay or whatever. I prefer to list from my computer just because it's easier to type. If you are a person who doesn't have a laptop, doesn't have a computer, Vendoo does have pretty much full capability, or should say almost full capability from their app. It is the one cross-listing tool that does. And so, if you don't have the option of a computer, then the app will take care of all of your cross-listing needs. But I just prefer to create my listings from my computer. So what I do is I upload the pictures from my phone and then create the listing from my computer. Couple of reasons. One, the photos are already on my phone. Number two, is that the photos do upload a lot faster. Now, this may change in the future, but the way that it's currently working is they upload like 5 times faster on the phone. And so I'll just go ahead and do that. And then they're ready like within 20 seconds for me on the computer once they've uploaded. The second pro tip here for you that I'm going to show you how in the demonstration today is to make use of templates. So Vendoo has, you can create templates inside of Vendoo and then reuse the template so that you're not having to enter the same information every time for every jean that you list and every shirt that you list. You probably have information that is going to go in, every jean listing. You're going to have those measurements. The weight of the items, might be the same. So you can go ahead and pre-enter those in a template so that you're not having to re-enter them every time you create that type of listing. And I'll show you how to do this. The next pro tip, the next couple of pro tips are specifically for eBay. And I will show you this inside the demonstration. But with eBay, you're going to want to have your shipping policies set up ahead of time. So these are policies inside of eBay. They are in your business policies. And if you've been selling on eBay, you probably already have your shipping policies set up. If you're not yet selling on eBay, you're going to need to set the shipping policies up. And so you'll get these set up. And once they're set up, Vendoo will pull those policies that you've already set up inside of eBay. They will pull those into Vendoo so that you can select them right inside of Vendoo. But it needs to have those listings to be able to pull them right. So I would recommend getting those set up before you go, trying to list to eBay. The second pro tip here for eBay is there are optional fields when you're listing on eBay, when you're even listing directly in eBay. There's required fields and then there's optional fields. So for example, with a shirt, an optional field might be the pattern. The optional field might be the length of the sleeve. Is it sleeveless? Is it long sleeve? It might be the material. Those are going to be optional. If you're listing inside of Vendoo, it's actually going to hide those optional fields just to kind of clean up the whole form. But there's a button where you can expand to get to those optional fields. And so it's easy to pass over. It's easy to miss. It's easy to, not see that it's there. But I would recommend expanding that and filling out as many of those as you can, because those do really help buyers find your items. All right, so we're going to go head on over into Vendoo and I will show you around creating listings in Vendoo, as well as those templates and the shipping policies, the expanding those optional fields and all of that good stuff. So I'll see you there in a second. Up the Vendoo account and then show you what this looks like inside of Vendoo. So I already have some listings. Let me make sure. Okay. Internet's a little bit slow this morning. I have some listings here where I have already uploaded the pictures. So I would start from my phone, the Vendoo app in there, and then upload the pictures into a template. So for example, this template, it already has that men's coat as part of the title. These were templates used that didn't have anything in the title. So let me open up one of these. And so at this point, all I have done is uploaded the photos from my phone. It's not listed on anything. So like yesterday when we were importing our listings, this showed that it was listed on eBay because it had been imported from eBay. At this point, with this particular listing, I have started with the template. I've uploaded pictures from my phone. It's not listed anywhere. And so I would come in here With the template, you can actually have a set description of what you're going to have. So for example, I'm still working on getting my templates all set up. And I want to say, maybe I have it in here. Maybe. Okay, yes. So this is an example of one where I have actually already set this up. So this is a template that I'm using for a men's shirt. And so I do have already my dimensions set up in here, or the field for the dimensions. So for example, for a shirt, I'm always going to have a armpit to armpit dimension. I'm always going to have the length of that shirt. You know, for if I were listing jeans, then that would obviously be different. I'd want to have, you know, the measurement of the waist. I'd want to have the measurement of the rise, the inseam, whatever. So you can set those up so you're not having to re-enter them every time. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to this other one just because I know what it is. You're also going to have this category here. I would recommend when you set up your templates that those templates correspond with a certain category. So for example, this template here is a template for men's coats. I have another template for women's coats. And if you go down to the category, this is, you're going to pre-select this inside of your template. And so I already have that set up to be men's coats. So when I come in to create a listing, I, you know, upload the pictures of that coat. It's already set up for that category. You can also set up things like your weight. You could set up the other one that I do for all of my templates pretty much is to set up the condition. I do list new items, and but I mostly list pre-owned items. So I'll go ahead and have that already pre-selected so that I'm not having to, you know, choose that every time. If it does happen to be something that's new, then I would just change that. But that, you know, it's a more rare occasion. It's not worth me creating a separate template for that. So hopefully that makes sense. So as you're setting up these templates, it can be a little bit of like, okay, I need to go back and fix this. So this is an example here of, okay, I don't have an armpit to armpit. I don't have a length. So I need to have that in my template. Like that's important to me. So I would add that. That'd be basically the only thing I'd change there. So let me just see what this is. So it's a Levi's 2XL. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just walk you through this. So Levi's men's coat, I'll say utility, if I can type, cargo, brown, canvas, size XXL, rim, so might as well do 2XL too. I would put in my dimensions. I don't have the item like with me as I'm filming this video. And then you're going to fill out the basics. So I'm inside of the Vendoo form. You can tell that because this outline of the form is also yellow. So you'll notice as you go through these different forms, the color always matches. So this is Levi's. And then the nice thing about this is you can actually tab from field to field, and you can go down with the arrow. So this is brown. I'm just going to press tab, and that's going to select that for me. The SKU, I'm going to just say it's my closet shelf for now. I'm not sure where I'm putting it because I'm not actually like in my work area with this item. And then the size was an X, oops, let's see, 2XL. All right, now the weight of this item. So if you're listing a certain type of item, you're going to have a good idea of, you know, approximately what that weight is. And so you don't need to, for shipping, for pretty much everything over a pound, you just need to be to the closest pound. So I always put like 1 pound, 12 ounces or 2 pounds, 12 ounces. You just need to be within that weight. So this coat is most likely in the 1 to 2. I would weigh this if I was actually in my work area with my scale, but it doesn't get good internet for filming videos or streaming live. So I'm going to leave this as is. This 1 pound, 12 ounces covers pretty much most coats. It also covers, you know, jeans if I were in a jean template. And then I'm going to go ahead and give this a price. I'm going to say $22.99. There are some other things in here, like where you can enter the cost of goods. So you can put in how much you paid for the item. So maybe I purchased it for $5. I could go ahead and pop that in, whatever that is, if that's something that you want to keep track of, because Vendoo will is able to keep track of your profit. And so, obviously the cost of goods is part of your profit if that's something that you want to, enter and that you want it to keep track of for you. The other thing to be aware of with these listings is you can enter labels. And so these are all labels that I set up. And this is just a way for you to be able to better sort items, better, manage your inventory. And so I've set up some different labels. I was just playing around. I don't personally use these. I was just kind of playing around to see how this works. I should say I'm not using them currently. It may change, but I did set some up for like fall, summer, winter, the different holidays, so that I would be able to see those items. I did set up multi-quantity. So if I have an item that has, 5 of all one, that I would be able to just pull up those items and see, how that's doing. And it will manage multi-quantity. If you're wondering, Vendoo will manage that. So I'm going to select this just for fun, just to show you. And again, you can type. So let's say fall, I don't have to use my mouse and cursor. I can just hit F and it's going to go there. So I hit F and then tab. Oops, maybe it doesn't work on this. There we go, enter. And that works the same for any of these. Is you can press like brown, BR, there we go. And you can get to it that way. So you're not having to, use a lot of cursor, or I'm all about the shortcuts. So when you get done with that, you're going to hit save. That's really important because, you want to save that item. And then you can go through just like we did yesterday. I am going to spend maybe a smidge more time walking you through this because I did fly through it pretty quickly, but you can see that it's already brought in the title. It's brought in that description. It's brought in the brand, the color, the SKU. So I'm not having to re-enter any of those things. Now, this is the section that I'm talking about with eBay. So you'll see, for example, there's men's. I'm going to say this is cotton. If I type regular style, we'll call it military type coat. So I'm typing on my keyboard. I'm not actually, pressing that. I just type C and it's going to come up as coat, CO, let's say. There's the description, condition description, because eBay is the one platform that has that field for condition description. So you'll see that there. This is the button where I'm talking about, where you need to actually expand to be able to show these other fields. So it's not going to just automatically show these fields. Oops, I don't want beaded. And so there's certain ones that I'm going to do depending on the item and depending on the category that it is. So for example, the closure, that's one that I always do. So closure is zip. Let's see. Pattern is another one that I always do for pretty much every item. So that's solid. There's no, plaid or stripes going on. And then depending on what the category that you're listing in, these are going to change. So if it's a shirt, it would ask the sleeve length. So is it sleeveless? Is it long sleeve? Is it short sleeve? You're going to see that here in the optional fields. If it's jeans, you're going to find things like the rise. Is it high rise, low rise, medium rise? That's not going to be found up here in the required category specifics. It's going to be in these optional fields. And so I really recommend using those, whether you're listing in eBay or not, using those, because it helps buyers find those items that they're looking for. All right, so you've got that. And then this is where all of your shipping policies are. So these are all being pulled in from eBay. So these are all things that I have set up, all shipping policies that I have set up for myself inside of the business policies in eBay. Once you've got that set up, Vendoo knows to pull those in. And so for this particular item, I'm going to see if I can, it's not going to go that. This is a new one that I just created, that is Ground Advantage for items over £1 and I'm going to charge $8.99. So I've already set this up in my title of the shipping policy in Vendoo. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you see this little save thing here, icon, you can click that and then it'll know like when you create a new eBay listing that's what you want for the default. I don't want to change that. I liked the one that it has, so I'm just going to leave that. But these have all been saved, so I don't have to re-enter them every single time. And then from there, it's going to pull in my buy it now price. You can list auction style, and I just tried this out a few days ago. So that is another option. If you're like, hey, I want to list auction style on eBay, then you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click list. It's sometimes it'll sit there and think for a little bit, but oh yeah, there. So it says listing. While it's doing that, you can go ahead and move on. So you can see how it says listing. You can go ahead and move on to the next field. And so this is kind of what we walked through yesterday. So rather than showing you that same thing, I want to show you a couple other things. So you just walk through it just like we did yesterday with Poshmark. Fill out the couple of items that need filled out. So example, this is a little weird on Poshmark, is that you have to do US, or you have to do big and tall to get to XXL. It's just one of the things with Poshmark. But from there, it's pretty much ready for me to list. So I'm going to click list. And then I would go through and do the same with Mercari. What I do want to show you with the rest of the time that we have left is a couple of things. First, this auto sales detect. So I'm here in the sold items, and these are the items that I've sold in the last probably since last night. So 4 items, and then it'll show here. This item, for example, it sold on Mercari. This other one sold on eBay. And so these have automatically been pulled in. It's showing the last auto detection was 2 minutes ago. So it's pulled those in. It's refreshing constantly to see, did something sell? And then if something sells, it will automatically delist that item from the other platforms for you. And you do not have to have that delist relist add-on that we talked about yesterday for this to work. This capability of the auto sales detect is for everybody that is using Vendoo. And this is one of the reasons, if you're going back and forth between maybe another cross lister in Vendoo, this is one of the things that makes Vendoo stand out, is this ability to auto sales detect your sales. And so you're going to see that there are no icons down here. If there happened to be an icon, like let's say this item sold, but I had a pending offer on Poshmark, it's not going to be able to delist that, and it'll show that it's still listed on Poshmark. In this case, with all of the items that's shown, there's no icon. So it means they've all been delisted, automatically for me. And so I can come in and add sales details if I want, for how much that item actually sold for. So this one did sell on a best offer. This was really weird. I sent out an offer for $12.36, and the person came back in and offered like $12.76. They offered me more. They countered for more. So I'll take that. I'm not sure what's going on here with, there we go, with that. So you can come in and put in the actual price that it sold for. What's going on? This is not a feature that I use, so I could totally be doing this wrong. So $12.76. And then it'll allow you here to put in the cost of the item again, if you had not put in your cost of goods already. And then the marketplace fee. So it's going to check, or it's going to, for the marketplaces that it can, this sometimes is automatically populated. So for example, Poshmark, where it's pretty straightforward. eBay is really complicated because it depends on the platform you're listing on. It depends on if you have top rated seller status or not. It depends on a lot of things. So I would recommend, if this is something where you want it to keep track of your fees for you, that you find those and then enter them yourself. And then as well as any shipping expense that you may have encountered. For me, I'm paying for this label, the person paid for the label inside of Mercari. I'm going to print the label inside of Mercari. So this is pretty irrelevant. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that. That kind of shows you how this auto sales detect works. And then you can hit this button down here. I'm not not sure what's going on here. Okay, you can hit this button down here where it says clear all sales detected. So that's normally what I do. So I don't spend time entering those things myself. I probably should, but I just come in and clear them. So I know that, okay, all of these sales, yes, they've come in. They're the items that I actually need to ship still this morning. And then it's all up to date. If something happens to come in after now, then it'll show here in the auto sales detect. The other thing that I want to show is where you get to the templates. So it's a little bit weird. It's in settings and then template manager. So there's a whole list of templates here. Actually, I have 27 that's showing. And these are all templates that I've created. And so you're just going to do this if you're new to Vendoo and you haven't made a template before. This is going to be blank. There's not going to be anything there. And so you're going to need to come in and actually create a template. Now this looks identical to like actually listing an item, right? But it's your template. So you can upload photos. I would recommend, not uploading photos because you're probably going to have different photos for different items, right? But you could put in the title. So say, for example, that men's coat. And then I can put that in since I need to fix this link. If I can type. And have those in there. You can put in whatever else in here. So let's say that, all items come from a smoke-free, pet-free home or whatever it is that you want to say for standard language. You can put that in there as well. And then that's going to go for all of the templates that use that listing. I'd recommend leaving the brands because unless you're listing all of the same brand. That pre-owned you can select because, if you're listing a lot of pre-owned or mostly pre-owned, then that's going to save you some time there. And then here's where you're going to choose your category. So let's say men's coat, men's coat jacket, vest. And so then that way you're not having to choose that category every time. You're probably, maybe going to be listing mostly regular sizes. So you could go ahead and put that in. You could put in your weight, whatever, is going to be most relevant to that category and that type of item that you're listing. And then, this is the other kind of little trick here. If you click save, this is going to actually create an item, but you don't want to do that. You want to create a new template. So it's hidden down here at the bottom. And so I would press that to create a new template. I'm going to call this men's coat since I needed to update this one anyway and call it new or updated. I could have also started with that template and then hit save template. Okay, so I'm going to go back to where the templates are. And you can only right now, like, let's say I needed to update that coat. So here's the old one that's not updated. Right, as of right now, you can only update the name and the description. You can't go in and change like the weight of the item or what you have for your measurements. So that's why you need to create a new one, or you could do use template and then, create a new template that way. So hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one because that's the old one. I don't need that one anymore. All right. Okay, so for today's challenge, if you're brand new and you're like, okay, I want to try out creating a template, then your challenge for today is to go in and create at least one template. You could create 5 templates, but I would recommend for your templates that they match your categories. So let's say you're going to be listing in women's tops, then I would make a template for women's tops. If you're going to be listing men's button-up shirts, make a template for men's button-up shirts. If you're listing women's jeans, template for men's jeans. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're a little bit farther along and you're like, okay, I want to do more than that. I want to do more than create just a template. Then I want you to create a template, or if you already have them set up, then go ahead and create a listing from that template and then cross list. And I'm going to leave this up to you, but I put 5 items just as a suggestion, just so you can go in and try that out. And again, you get 5 listings free with the free with the free version of Vendoo. So that's totally possible if you're like, okay, I'm not quite ready to pay for Vendoo yet. You can go in and get 5 items cross-listed. All right, so coming up tomorrow, I will be back tomorrow at the same time, and we will be diving into the other features of Vendoo. I've barely just scratched the surface of everything that Vendoo is capable of. And we're also going to talk about one of my favorite ways, one of the easiest ways to be able to use Vendoo to make more sales. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share. Let's see. And if there are any questions about anything that I've covered, I feel like I've talked really fast and covered a lot. So I totally understand if there's any questions about how Vendoo works, using Vendoo in your own business. I'm happy to stick around just a bit longer and answer any questions about how cross-listing can help you, how Vendoo can help you make more money, get your items in front of more buyers. So I shared with you guys yesterday an example. So like yesterday, I had three eBay sales and then 2 Poshmark sales. Today, an example of what I have, you guys saw it in my sold item details, but I have 3 items on eBay and then 1 item on Mercari. And so that kind of just goes to show you, like, you can sell across multiple platforms and make sales on multiple platforms without it taking too much more effort. If I were just selling on eBay, I probably would have just had the 3 each day, but it's like increased my sales by approximately 30% between the 2 days. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you back here tomorrow for the last day of the challenge. See you soon.